So it is Scott and Rita. We're doing our cosmic dialogue on everything can be easy.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go spirit world, 5 years, 10 years, a year?
You choose.
Okay. Let's do 2 years from now, 2022. Feels good.
Yeah.
All right. So the easy feeling, and you can supercharge me, and then if you want to do that, we'll super duper charge or whatever. Super duper. It's 2022, and Reed and I have been looking back on a time where we were like, oh, what does it look like, and how does it happen when things are easy, and how can we have like an ease of things? And so now that we've grown and come a ways in the last 2 years, 2022 has happened, and in some ways things are not easier, in the world and for our lives, but we've kind of come up with some really cool ways of allowing ease into our life that has really made a difference. So I'll talk about me, and if you want to talk about you. So now that it's 2022, things that happened for me that really have created a lot of ease is that I meditate a lot more now. I don't know what hit me, but there was a time, probably like a little after 2 years, like maybe 16 months ago, 18 months ago, I don't know, where I just really, it was summer, and money with like the Instacart platform is a little different, and so other jobs came into play, and I just decided that I needed to take time to meditate again. I hadn't really been diligent. Not that I had to be diligent. I could meditate when I wanted to because it makes me happy. But when I started just really having lots of practice every day, just letting go and letting myself feel the feelings I was feeling and just being in that moment and having at least 15 minutes every day to kind of just like experience nothing, like the ease of nothing. That was really at first a little painful. Like, oh, it's kind of weird to feel nothing, like, and to like understand what like nothingness like feels, and all the shame of nothing, and all of that. And so I had to work out shame and neglect and all of that, because like things felt, what is this pondering of nothing? But in 2 years I've really come to know that this like empty space is a real key to like ease in life, because that's where I get to play and let go and allow God to come in. I have a regular time with God, a regular time with myself, a regular time to just clear everything. It's like, even like if it comes to me in the meditation, I ask for a miracle, or I ask for something, and that's something I never really did. I never really wanted to take and like use that to like ask for something for myself of God, but it happens now, and I just sort of ask. It's not like a need or whatever. It's just a casual, how about this or something better, and I'm not attached to the outcome, but I am now able to ask. So that asking kind of is translated into some other stuff. And so financially too, every once in a while I just have the opportunity to ask. I've bid out some other website jobs, and I said, well, what do you think of this? Or so I'm playing with that right now. That just calmly, if I can ask God for something and then I see the results, then oh my gosh, I can ask a lot of things in life. And that sort of seems easier. And just that I'm detached from, I've already felt through these ideas of nothing and these ideas of shame and guilt and all of that. I spent a lot of meditation time with all that. What does it mean to feel nothing and to be nothing, or to, yeah, the unworthiness. Um, what what do you think about that?
Oh, that feels really good and has felt really good. We were both asking and had to feel through our feelings of programming to don't ask. Like that there had been something programmed early in us that asking for stuff for ourselves was bad. And just changing that really shifted a lot of stuff for you. And I watched it for you to shift, and you got really good at asking, and without any neediness or demand or anything. It was just like a question, and a person could accept or decline, and it didn't matter one way or the other. Because if it's something you really wanted, you just go ask somewhere else, and until it worked for both. So yeah, that was a huge change that I saw happen for you.
I think too that like I already had that feeling that God provided it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So all I had to feel was that in the ask. If I were to,
I'm
you
I'm
know,
I'm seeing the book Are You My Mother? It was like, well, it's already here somewhere. I just have to go find out if you're the person. Are you the person who's going to provide this, or is this a situation that's going to provide this? Because God had already put it out there for you. You're just searching for it.
that's kind of how I feel. Yeah, it's I've never read that book, Are You My Mother? So
Uh,
it's an interest. I'll have to put that on my list. But yeah, so if I have this certainty and I've learned that when I feel have those feelings where the God in the universe has spoken to me, that I do have a certainty that I'm going to have some sort of evidence, you know, and I have to like check in all the time. That's why meditation is good. Some of these things are my ego. I'm like, oh, I'm not. I know that egoically, I'm not going to ask for $1 million or the perfect mansion or property. It's not a need. It's not even like an intrinsic need. Um, but other things, it's like that would make my life a little easier, that I feel like are in need, or that are also part of well part of that what is it, the love economy. If I know that, if I check in with that and I know that that's something that I can ask for, then I feel like it's already done.
mhm.
So yeah, it is. It's just a simple matter of, if I know it's done, I just have to look. Just have to keep looking, keep asking, um, because you never know, the person, something next to you might provide that opportunity, and without asking, or without um, being fully in that, it's part of like being fully. That's what it is too. It's part of being fully into knowing what. Um, oh, there's a word, like kind of like a need, but also kind of like what feeds your soul, and sitting in like that space of knowing what's really soul currency for you, and that you know that there's something available and you're just looking. It's like longing, but a little less than longing.
Passion.
Passion. Um, it's like desire without the negativity.
Mm-hmm.
It's the there's a word, and I'll let you talk and I'll think of the word.
Yearning.
Yearning. Yeah, it's a heart's desire,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a positive truth, a true heart's desire. And when I tap into that kind of thing, then things are easy. But if I check into something and I say, oh, I really like a new client, or I'd like, tons more Instacart work or tons more of this work or tons more of that. It's not really defined. Then I know it's just sort of an egoic thing. It's like not really a heart's desire thing. I have to check in.
Mm-hmm.
And when I check in with that, then it's that's where the easiness and the ease comes in. It's like, and I kind of have to go beyond money. I have to go to
Yeah.
what that money is for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just to ask for allow me to stay in my space and live this month. Allow me to, even if it's something as need like that. It's like I know that God's going to provide food, shelter, clothing, sustenance, rest. Um, but then like heart's desire. It's like one of the times I said it would really please me if Rita sold a big soul circle, and it was a heart's desire. And so I started asking, hey, would you like this to be with you? Would you like this to be on your wall? Would you like a print like this to be with you? How would that make you feel? Those kinds of ways. And so there was a little more of an ease once, it took 2 years to kind of figure out how would it make you feel if you had like a partner like this? And just like, even with me with some of the stuff, like asking for, let's talk about the ease you would have for a website. What would that bring for your life? So I'm here. I can help you if you like. No big deal if you don't want it, but I'm here. Well, how would that feel?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, that takes. It's not about what they're going to pay you for that website or even that feeling. It's just you're fulfilling a yearning for them, what they're yearning.
yeah, it's almost as if like you just tap into a frequency. You're like, okay, I've got a frequency in my heart, and I'm seeing other people that have a frequency in their heart. Those are the people I have to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
So, or even if it's just about like my meditation practice, like, oh, how'd you like to meditate the same time I do? I'm just tapping people. Well, I'm going to do this, Friday at like noon. So why don't you do it too? Let's share that. So those things are easy. That's a little more ease before, and it just took a while just to kind of like really feed into the heart to find that ease. So what about you? How did you find a little more ease?
Well, funnily enough, I was meditating less starting in 2020. And at first, I tried to make that not the case and keep my meditation going. But then it was like in the meditation, I was being told to stop meditating and do other things because I think some of what got attached to the meditation was like putting it on the meditation to make things easier. And like the message I was getting was to just go about your business and embody that feeling of ease, that assumption that all things were being served, and that well, it was more about feeling through. Here's what it is. Yes, I remember now. It was going through every minute of the day, noticing when I was feeling like that old assumption that there was going to be a hard thing to go through to accomplish this or to have that, to fulfill that yearning. um, to work through what looked like a problem. And every time those feelings of assuming it was going to be hard came up, that was the time to just feel all that heaviness of what comes with that assumption, sort of that Midwestern, hardworking, puritanical weight. And just every time it came up, to feel it and let that piece of it go. So just not lugging that thing around on my back made everything easier.
Yeah, I remember you telling me something about like I walked around in the grocery store just feeling at ease, and all of a sudden people started talking to me. Not about Steve, not about um, you know, problems of the day, but just I remember you saying I got complimented just by walking around looking like I felt like feeling at ease, and like people just complimented like you look great today. You have wow, look at you. You're dressed really. I love what you're wearing or whatever. So and it wasn't anything different than what they'd seen you in previously.
Right.
So it was like every day for you, but when it was almost like you consciously put on ease.
Mm. Yeah.
And then just walked outside of the world, whether it was like around the pond or your lake or to the grocery store or on your bike.
It was really curious to see where it just like bumped up against other people's life is hard belief. That created a lot of interesting conversations and situations.
Mm.
Yeah, and I realized that in that carrying around that life is hard baggage there was a little bit of protective shield from people being jealous of having it easy.
Yeah. I think I'm going to start saying the world is hard, life is easy.
Mm. Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah. The world is harsh, but life is easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and really it is. Like our cells are all meant to look what they do. Oh my gosh, they fight off disease, they fight all this stuff. We don't even have to consciously think about it.
Right. And that's really, it's funny that you say that because that's what the meditation was sort of telling me. You don't have to focus all the time. You can just go live your life. We'll take care of it. You're all right.
Yeah, yeah. Just allow this like intelligence
Mm-hmm.
that you have built into you, all our cells, all of our being, all the consciousness we have. There's an intelligence there that I mean, we don't know about. If we just get out of the way, maybe
Mm-hmm.
it can work. So, and we don't have to know about it for it to work.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's kind of fun.
So it was interesting that you were meditating more and I was meditating less, but the same truth is still for both. You don't have to focus all the time, but for you, it was just that's where the medicine was at that
Yeah.
time.
Well, also the medicine was like more of like getting in touch with my heart, the heart's
Mm-hmm.
desire. That's the big thing. It's like get the heart's desire in there, and then you're done. You
Mm-hmm.
identify it, you learn about their heart's desire, and then you just walk around knowing
Yeah.
that there's an ease.
Isn't that, I mean, just even if you stop the sentence there, you just walk around knowing. That's what's different.
Yeah,
To be in that knowing all the time. It just eliminates so much anxiety.
oh yeah, and it doesn't feel heavy.
Yeah.
The atmosphere you walk through doesn't feel heavy.
Mm-hmm. And there's no convincing anyone else of what you know because
No, no.
they can walk around in their knowing if they want to.
Or they can just see me walking in my knowing, and like they have a choice to sort of say, "Oh, what happens if I do that?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?" No one's come up to me yet to say, "How do you walk around in this knowing?" They just don't know how to ask the question.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like the dog tilting their head a little
Right.
bit, but um, yeah, it's if I made it my job to teach everybody about that, I think things would be less easy.
Mm.
Oh, that sounds heavy.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yeah.
job is not to teach the world this ease. My job is to experience this ease and the love of the universe and God.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of profound too. Our
Yeah.
jobs and our lives are just meant to experience this love.
Right. Yeah. And I had a feeling back 2 years ago. God doesn't care about probate laws.
Why would God care about probate laws?
Right? Yeah. And then I just kept applying that to other things as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. Um,
But there were other things happening at the time that really bolstered this whole ease and that we had nothing to do with, although we do because we're affecting everything. But that was appeared to be so far removed from us that um, just socially and politically things were rearranging themselves. I didn't have to canvas. People were switching to the easy way on their own.
yeah. It is a rearrangement. Now that I've gotten perspective the last
Mm-hmm.
2 years, it's just a massive rearrangement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we clean our houses. Is that like a really easy, well, it could be. Um, we clean our houses. Is that like the most glamorous thing to do? If you look in it from a lens from afar, you know, pulling the chairs into the middle of the room, everything is like chaotic.
And then it gets orderly
Then it gets orderly.
and
Then it
clean.
doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
And then as March came in 2 years ago, my forecast for March was that there would be a lot of dropping like flies.
Mm.
And we were seeing that in a lot of ways. Just false beliefs, um, people who didn't want to go into the new way, problems, lies, candidates. And part of that message was when there's less filth and waste, you don't need so many flies.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll just say filth and waste.
Yeah,
Nice to be attracted to.
right.
Interesting. It was also interesting to me, and I'll just say it right away anyway, that, right after we started, thinking about this ease thing, that Jason Estes picked up on it a week later. So just ironically and meditatively without anything else. So we're starting to affect the rest of the psychic community in
Mm-hmm.
interesting ways. So that's something fun to watch. It always has been. Just, we just put out the wave of ease, and then we see all the other intuitive folks, and we used to sort of, what are they doing? get a little. It's still amusing, but part of that ease is just a knowing is that, wow, I can carry this, and like I'm not teaching anyone, I'm not doing anything, but yet it's being picked up, in that other space, the other space.
Yeah.
Um, you know, so that's also part of that knowing too. We affect the whole universe, even in our meditations, or even in our learning to put on ease.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea how that's going to change everything. We're part of a rearrangement.
Well, we watched like the majority of the country really just wanting certain policies, just that yearning, and the people who would enact those policies and change the world from what it was. And in that regard, we're all on a level playing field. An oligarch can't yearn bigger than I can.
Very true. Mm. Your neighbor who may disagree with you on all things civil and politics can't yearn more than what you can either.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And then when massive amounts of people all have the same yearning, then for sure it will tip the scales.
yeah. And I also noticed too that there was like a real, underneath all this real interesting, we'll just go off into a little bit into the political sphere. Underneath all of this posturing, I noticed 2 years ago, there was some real hearts and minds change that was like, underneath all of this, there was an undercurrent of something else going on in humanity. And it was about really knowing that we're going through this exercise way too much. And we have to, like, if it's not going to work here, we have to find another way underneath, around, above this crazy system of duality, in the political sphere, to actually like reconnect with others in a heart space. I saw little things like that just underneath. Just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even lifting things up, and yeah, that was so. Even after we had certain results, people walked around still in the same earthly bodysuits, and it didn't matter. Some were very happy, some were very sad, as every election period goes. But there was an undercurrent of some of us who really, wow, I found a little more connection with humanity throughout all of this. And so, if we can have that kind of ease, that political sphere, every 2 years, 4 years, whatever, it's just going to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't get everything we want right now. It's just going to keep going. Wait till everybody longs for it. So, yeah.
And then it's way more immediate than it ever was before.
Yeah. It can't support. It's almost as if like it can't support its own weight.
Mm.
Its own heaviness gets too much, and it just falls away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What a change that was. Just a collective. Wow, it can be easy now. I'm free to just do, and I'm not a slave to that old way anymore. It's like people are just blossoming, like being everybody just being let out of prison all at once.
And even now, 2 years after all of this too, I'm sort of like seeing in the future, like 10, 12, 20 years from now, even when the indigo children start coming through, that there's going to be a huge renaissance. So it's interesting. There's me in the future talking about a future. Psychically, that, yeah, 2030 is going to be a huge resurgence of just freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And not an artificial freedom, but a real freedom of the mind, freedom of the heart, freedom of the soul.
Yeah, I remember just feeling like my lungs expanded more at that time. So there was less pressure inward.
Yeah, yeah. So that's probably what I'm looking forward to now, is this total expansion where, yeah, there is, and it doesn't have to be like induced by psychedelics or drugs like the 60s or free love or all this stuff, you know. Yeah, I really see that this pathway to ease can really bring us in the future a real, I don't even want to say resilience, that's like an old term.
Yeah, what's to bounce back from?
Yeah,
Bouncing forward.
and it was all a journey, and we didn't have anything to worry about as far as resilience. We're now like surfing the top of the wave, or we're also on top over the wave, the air on top of the wave. So it's, and this is what I can see now through a lens of a little more ease, is that if we know as intuitives, we can actually affect the world in this underground energetic way. Oh my gosh, 8 years from now, 2030, it's all coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the old guard, look out. They'll just feel their feelings. We talked about it too, this whole shift.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, anything else you want to add?
No, it's good.
Good. So we're just gonna keep practicing our ease, putting on ease. I'll tap into my heart some more.
Yep.
Not afraid to ask, you
Right.
know. And all you have to do is walk out your door wearing ease, and people don't. You don't even have to ask, which is kind of funny. I'll learn that.
Right. That's good. I'm glad we added that little piece in there.
Yeah, yeah. You just walk out your door wearing ease, and your lawnmower guy or your, yeah. It just, yeah. I remember you emailed me like, I got 3 steps outside my door, putting on ease, and this is what happened. 3 steps.
Yeah, somebody flagged me down and said they needed a paint job.
And I was like, oh, I have to ask about 20 times for that. But I still do. Oh, funny. Rita takes 3 steps. So, yeah. No, there's no competition. So.
No, we're feeding each other's
It's great.
movement and growth.
It's great. All right. We'll end our dialogue at that.
Okay.
That's where I will listen to. 8 years from now, I'll walk out my door.
Right.
Something will hit me. Thanks, Rita.
Thank you.